Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Praise the Most High for another Sabbath day. All praises and great glory that He woke us up. One day closer to the kingdom, family. One day closer. Today we will be doing the aftermath of Exodus 32. Of what happened immediately after. After the Levites killed their own brethren. The Most High now is talking to Moses at the base of the mountain of what to do next with this stiff-necked people. Let me set the stage, family. Up to this point, our ancestors had just committed the most embarrassing act of idolatry in recorded history. They built a golden calf. Let it sink in, family. The Most High had just brought them out of Egypt with signs and wonders that shook the entire known world. He split the Red Sea. He drowned Pharaoh's army. He fed them with bread from heaven. He gave them water from a rock. And what did our stiff-necked ancestors do? While Moses was up on the mountain talking to him, they melted down their gold, shaped it into a cow, and started dancing around it like fools at a strip club, family. Orgy and everything. They said, "These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." This is the level of stupidity, family, that the Most High is dealing with. And guess what? Nothing's changed today. You so-called Negroes today are doing the exact same thing. You're not building golden calves, but you're worshiping celebrities, athletes, rappers, and influencers all over social media. You put them on pedestals. You memorize their lyrics, but you can't quote 10 verses from his word. You know every stat from your favorite NBA player, but you don't know the prophets. You are bowing to the same idols, just with different names and faces. So when chapter 33 opens, the Most High is beyond furious. He's ready to wipe the slate clean and start over with Moses alone. But Moses, that faithful servant, he pleaded for y'all. He stood in the gap for y'all. And that brings us to verse number 1. And Yah said unto Moses, "Depart and go up hence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, unto thy seed will I give it." So notice what Yah says here. He told Moses to get moving. Depart, go up. Stop camping at the base of this mountain and get to the land he promised. But look at how he phrased it, family. He said, the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt. Not my people, not the people I brought out. He distanced himself from you, Israel. He disowned you in that moment because of your rebellion. When you act like the heathen nations, he treats you like the heathen nations, like nothing. Drop in a bucket, family. The nations are as spittle, nothing. So when you rebel against him, when you break his laws, when you live in rebellion, then guess what he deems you as? Nothing. There's a pattern you need to understand. When you obey him, he claims you. He calls you his son, his daughter, his bride. But when you chase after idols and live like the world, he lets you go. He removes his hand of protection. And that is exactly what is happening to you so-called Negroes today, all over the world. You wonder why the violence is so high in your neighborhoods. You wonder why your families are broken. You wonder why you can't get ahead no matter how hard you work. I see y'all on social media complaining, doing all the work you can do, doing the best work you can do, but all the promotions still go to the white man. Look at Michael B. Jordan, for instance. He did all that good work in that movie Sinners. played two different people. Was stunning. Man, spectacular. Still lost out to some white boy, some pasty white boy, who did half the work he did. Ooh, must have hurt, huh? But see, that's what happens when you trust them and not him. Stranger shall rise above you. That's what he said in Deuteronomy 28 curses. But you guys still don't understand it. You're doing all this work, and they promote their own people. Oops. Oops. It is because the Most High has stepped back from you. He has let you taste the consequences of your own choices. But even in his anger, family, even when he disowned us, he does not forget the covenant. He said, unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. His word stands forever, family. He swore an oath to your forefathers. And he does not break his promises. That land, that inheritance, it is still yours. Not because you deserve it, not because you earned it, but because he said so. That is the sovereignty of Yah. That is his election. He chose us, our ancestors. And by extension, he chose us. Even when we make him sick to his stomach, he cannot undo his own decree. So today in 2026, we are still in exile. We are still scattered. We are still under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. But that does not mean he has abandoned the plan, family. The land is still waiting. The kingdom is still coming. And when he decides it is time, not a single heathen on this earth can stop him. Because he is Yah, and his counsel shall stand. So verse 2. And I will send an angel before thee, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Here is where your Sunday school teachers lied to you. They told you this angel was some glowing supernatural being with wings and a flaming sword. They showed you pictures of blonde-haired, blue-eyed cherubs floating on clouds. That is paganism. That is Roman Catholic imagery mixed up with Greek mythology. The Most High does not operate like that. An angel is a messenger. The Hebrew word is malik. It means one who is sent. Sometimes he sends a man. Sometimes he sends a prophet. Sometimes he sends a warrior king. In this case, he was talking about sending a leader. A human vessel who will go before Israel and clear out the enemy nations. No wings, no halos, just a man anointed and appointed by him to do his will. And who is that? Himself, family, because he sent himself later on, thousands of years later, as Yahushua HaMashiach. He was giving you a prequel, a preview of what he was going to do. Thousands of years later. Because does not Yahushua say, he sent me? Who's he? Himself. The Spirit. In the flesh. Yahushua and Yah are the same person, family. Y'all don't think he can... He says he fills up both heaven and earth. You don't think he can send himself down as an earthly human and still fill up the earth, fill up heaven? There is no Trinity, family. And I will go into this more in depth when it is time. But I'm just telling you right now, get it out of your head. This same angel he sent here is the one and the only, him, Yahushua, Yah, same person. Because he says, I will drive out. He didn't say somebody else was going to drive out. He said, I will. That's him, family. And I'll tell you why he had to come down here like this. He says, I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. 6 nations, 6 peoples. All of them squatting on land that he already deeded to Abraham. They were trespassers. And he's not in the business of negotiating with trespassers, family. He does not do peace treaties with people who occupy his property. He evicts them. He drives them out. He destroys them. Same way he gonna do with them fake Jews and them Palestinians over there today. They all up in there. The Arabs, fake Arabs, and all of them. Afghanistan's people, Yemenites, all of them. All that desert you see over there, family, that's our land. That's why he covered it with desert, so they couldn't enjoy the land. He gonna drive them all out, family. Same way he did here. He gonna destroy you. This is his character. He's a God of war. He's a man of war. That's what he said in Exodus chapter 15, family. He does not sit on a cloud singing kumbaya with the nations like your preacher told you. He judges them. He uses them for his purposes. And when they have served their function, family, he throws them away like the trash they are. Oops, I'm sorry. Was that too much for your Christian sensibilities? Oh, you're clutching your pearls right now because you're seeing who y'all truly is. Most of y'all just clicked off the video. Good. Wasn't for you anyway. Now apply this today, family. Who are the modern Canaanites? Who are the modern Amorites today? They are the systems and the structures that oppress you today. They are the politicians who lie to you every election cycle. They are the corporations that gentrify your neighborhoods and push you out. They are the media outlets that program you to hate yourself and worship whiteness. They are the music industry that glorifies death and degeneracy in your communities. And guess what? He gonna drive them out too. Not because you prayed hard enough. Not because you marched in the streets. But because it is time. Because his plan demands it. He will raise up a deliverer, a modern day Moses, Joshua, and that person will not ask for permission. They will not negotiate. They will execute his judgment on the oppressors. And you will finally see that he is the Lord. But here's the catch. If you are still acting like the golden calf generation that we just read about last week, if you are still bowing to idols and chasing after the culture of your captors, you will not live to see the promise. You will die in this wilderness, in the land of your captivity. Just like your ancestors died in the wilderness of Sinai. The promise is for your children. The promise is for the remnant. The promise is for those who turn back to him with their whole heart. Verse 3, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of thee, for thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee in the way. This is why he had to come in human form, family. This verse should terrify you. He described the destination. The land flowing with milk and honey. Abundance, prosperity, peace. Everything you have been dreaming about. Everything you think you deserve, but then he dropped the hammer. He said, I will not go up in the midst of thee. Let me explain what that means, family. His presence, his glory, his Shekinah. It is not a gentle thing. It is not a warm hug. It is fire. It is consuming fire. When he shows up in fullness, everything that is not holy gets burned up. Everything that is contaminated gets purified or destroyed. And you, Israel, you were contaminated. Today, you are contaminated. You were filthy with idolatry. You had Egyptian gods still lingering in your hearts. You had rebellion festering in your bones. So he told Moses, if I walk with you personally, I will kill you all. Not because he is cruel, but because holiness and sin cannot coexist in close proximity. It is like matter and antimatter, family. When they touch, there's annihilation. So that's why he came down as a human vessel. Same way he came down as Yahushua. He's showing you a preview, family. Because if he came in his full glory at that time, he would have consumed all Israel. Because we was in sin. He didn't renew the covenant yet. They was all in sin. He would have killed them all. The Gentiles and the southern kingdom. So that's why he had to die first. To bring them back into right standing. Because if he didn't do that, they would have been dead, family. It's plain and simple as that. You see how simple the word is when you actually read the damn thing? This is all a preview, family. This Exodus 33. It's all a preview. Y'all call yourself Christians today. You call yourself a believer, but y'all living foul. Y'all sleeping around, you're lying and stealing, you're gossiping and backbiting, you're filled with jealousy and pride, and you have the audacity to ask the Most High, where is he? Why does not Yah show up? Because if he showed up in your church right now, family, half of you would drop dead on the spot. Your heart would stop. Your lungs would collapse. Your soul would evaporate like dew in the desert sun. That is why he stays distant. That is why he deals with us through mediators and messengers. That is why he sent Yahushua himself in the flesh, so that he can walk among you without vaporizing you. But even then, even in the humility of a human form, you rejected him. You crucified him. You chose a murderer over him. So do not act surprised when he keeps his distance now. He called you stiff-necked too. Do y'all know what that means? It means stubborn. It means hard-headed. It means you refuse to bend. You refuse to submit. You are like a mule that will not turn no matter how hard you pull the reins. You want to go your own way. You want to do your own thing. And the Most High lets you, because he is sovereign. He can force you to obey. But what glory is there in that? He wants willing vessels, not robots. But here's the consequence, family. When you are stiff-necked, he removes his presence. He lets you taste life without him. He lets you experience the curses. He lets the enemy oppress you. He lets your own foolishness destroy you. And when you have been broken enough, when you have been humbled enough, when you have hit rock bottom and there is nowhere else to run, then you cry out to him. Then you remember who he is. That is where you are right now today. You are in the valley. You are in the pit. You are under the boot of your enemies all around this earth. And it is all by his design. He orchestrated this. He allowed this. Not because he hates you, but because he loves you too much to let you stay in rebellion. Sometimes the only way to save a child is to let them fall. Sometimes the only way to heal a wound is to cut away the infected flesh. So verse 4, and when the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned, and no man did put on him his ornaments. Finally, right? Finally, they showed some emotion. When Moses came down and told you that he was refusing to travel with you, you mourned. You were sad. You took off your jewelry. You stopped trying to look cute. You stopped flexing. You realized that without him, you got nothing. But let me be honest, family. This mourning was shallow. It was temporary. It was performative. They were sad because they got caught. They were sad because there were consequences. But they were not truly repentant. True repentance means you change direction. True repentance means you never go back to that sin again. And guess what? A few chapters later, they're complaining again. They're rebelling again. They're testing him again. That is exactly what y'all doing today. You cry out at the altar on Sunday. You raise your hands. You catch the Holy Ghost, or whatever you think that is. You're speaking in tongues. You promise Yah you're going to change. And by Monday afternoon, you are right back in the same mess. You are right back in the bed with your ex. You're right back in the club. You're right back scrolling through filth on your phone. You're watching porn. You're eating pork, lobster, crab meat. The Most High told you to strip yourselves of your ornaments. In the cultural context, at this time, family, jewelry was a status symbol. It represented wealth, pride, vanity. The Most High wanted you to humble yourself. He wanted you to stop focusing on outward appearance and start focusing on inward appearance, inward transformation. But they did not want transformation, family. They want a quick fix. You want a quick fix. You want to bless him while you stay the same, and that's not how this works. Today, your ornaments are your designer clothes, your sneakers that cost more than your rent, your luxury cars that you cannot afford, your Instagram accounts where you curate a fake life, your obsession with looking rich while your bank account is empty. I am telling you the same thing he told your ancestors. Strip it off. Get rid of it. Stop valuing the temporary and start valuing the eternal. But you will not listen, family. You will keep chasing this image. You will keep trying to impress people who do not care about you. And when the judgment comes, when the economy collapses, when the system that you worship crumbles, you will finally realize that your ornaments cannot save you. Only He can. So verse 5, for Yah has said unto Moses, say unto the children of Israel, ye are a stiff-necked people. He will come up into the midst of thee in a moment and consume thee. Therefore now put off thy ornaments from thee, that he may know what to do unto thee. He was testing your family. He was testing them. He wanted to see if they could handle correction. He wanted to see if they would obey without understanding all the reasons. This is the essence of faith. Faith is not about knowing everything. Faith is about trusting Him, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts, even when it looks like you are losing. He told them to take off the ornaments so that He could know what to do with them. Now let me clarify something here, family. The Most High already knew what He was going to do. He is omniscient. He sees the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46:10 tells you that. He knows every thought before you think it. He knows every word before you speak it. So when He said that I may know what to do unto thee, He was speaking in human terms, family. He was giving you a chance to prove yourself. He was giving you an opportunity to show Him, and more importantly, to show yourself whether they were serious about this relationship or not. This is what modern believers do not understand today. You think Yah needs information. You think Yah's up in heaven scratching his head trying to figure out your next move. No, He already wrote the script. He already determined the outcome, but He still requires you to act. He still requires you to obey, because obedience is the evidence of faith. And faith without works is dead. James told you that. So when He told your ancestors to strip off their gold, He was separating the wheat from the chaff. He was dividing the loyal from the rebellious. And the same thing is happening now. He is shaking everything that can be shaken on this earth. He is testing your faith. And He is seeing who will stand when the pressure comes. Because, oh family, the pressure is rising right now if you can't see this. And most of y'all, if I'm being brutally honest, most of y'all are failing the test and will fail it outright. And will be thrown away with the heathen. Verse 6, and the children of Israel stripped themselves of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. Good, they obeyed. For once in their stubborn lives, they did what He said. They took off the jewelry, they humbled themselves. They showed some level of contrition. But here's the problem, family. This obedience was conditional. They only obeyed because they were scared. They only obeyed because Moses told them he was about to kill them. That is not love, family. That is fear. And while fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, it is not the end goal. The goal is love, family. The goal is loyalty. The goal is covenant faithfulness. Let me bring this into your modern context today, black people. How many of you have made promises to Yah that you did not keep? How many of you said, Yah, if you get me out of this situation, I will never do it again? And He got you out. He delivered you. He rescued you. And what did you do? You went right back to the same sin. You went right back to the same toxic relationship. You went right back to the same destructive habits. That is what your ancestors did. They stripped off the ornaments at Mount Horeb. But by the time they got to the border of the promised land, they were complaining again. They were doubting again. They were wishing they could go back to Egypt. Temporary obedience is not obedience, family. It is manipulation. It is playing games with the Almighty. And He does not play games. Verse 7 here. Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. And it came to pass that everyone which sought Yah went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp. This verse is loaded with meaning, family. Pay attention. Moses took the tent, the temporary dwelling place where he would meet with Him, and he moved it outside the camp. He separated it from the people Why? Because the camp was defiled. The camp was contaminated with idolatry. His presence could not dwell in the midst of the corruption, family. So Moses created a space, a sacred space, where anyone who genuinely wanted to seek him could come. But notice what it required, family. It required leaving the camp. It required separation. It required going against the crowd. Everyone who sought Yah had to go out. They had to walk away from the majority. You see what he's doing? They had to be willing to be different, to be seen as weird, to be labeled as extreme or fanatical. This is the call on your life right now. You cannot seek Yah and stay in the camp. You cannot serve him and blend in with the world around you. You cannot be a true Israelite and act like the heathen nations around you. There has to be a distinction. There has to be separation. Not because he's mean, family. Not because he wants to isolate you, but because holiness demands it. Righteousness demands it. Truth demands it. So today, the camp is your culture. The camp is the entertainment industry. The camp is social media. The camp is the secular education system. The camp is the political parties that promise you change but deliver more chains in your captivity. The camp is even your church buildings where the gospel has been so watered down and compromised. If you want to find him, you have to leave all of that behind. You have to go outside the camp. But let me warn you, family. When you do that, you will be lonely. You will be misunderstood. Your family will think you have lost your mind. Your friends will mock you. Your coworkers will avoid you. But that is the price of intimacy with the Most High. That is the cost of discipleship, family. Few are willing to pay it. Most people would rather stay in the camp, stay comfortable, stay accepted, and die without ever truly knowing their Creator. Verse 8, and it came to pass when Moses went out unto the tabernacle, that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door, and looked after Moses until he was gone into the tabernacle. And it came to pass, as Moses entered the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle. And Yah talked with Moses, and all the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle. And all the people rose up and worshiped, every man in his tent door. So the people stood and watched, family, 8 through 10. That's what they did. They saw Moses lead the camp. They saw him go to the tent. They saw his cloud. They saw his visible presence descend and meet with Moses. And what did they do? They worshiped from a distance. They stayed at their tent doors. They did not follow Moses. They did not seek Yah for themselves. They were content to be spectators. This is the modern church in a nutshell, family. You watch other people have a relationship with Yah. You watch the preacher. You watch the worship leader. You watch the prophet. But you do not pursue Yah himself, yourself. You are satisfied with secondhand encounters. You are satisfied with borrowed anointing. You want Yah to move, but you want Yah to move through someone else, not through you. Woo! Woo! The cloudy pillar was his glory. It was his presence in a form that they could see without dying. And he stood at the door. He did not go into the camp. He stayed outside, family, at the meeting place, waiting for anyone who had the courage to come close. And most of you are still standing at your tent door today. You are still watching from a distance. You are still living vicariously through other believers instead of pressing into Yah yourself. Let me be clear, family. The Most High is not hiding. He's not playing hard to get. He is available. He is accessible. But you have to come to him. You have to seek him. You have to prioritize him above everything else. And that is where you fail. You say you want Yah, but you do not want Yah enough to sacrifice comfort. You do not want Yah enough to give up your sin. You do not want Yah enough to endure persecution. So you stay at the tent door. Content with being on the sidelines instead of being in the game. Verse 11 here. And Yah spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. And his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So face to face, family, like a friend. Let that sink in. He spoke to Moses directly. No intermediaries, no angels, no visions, no dreams, just Yah and Moses, conversing like two men. This destroys the doctrine of the invisible God. This destroys the idea that Yah is some formless spirit floating in the ether. He has a face. He has a form. He made you in his image, which means he has an image, family. When he walked in the garden with Adam, he walked. When he wrestled with Jacob, he wrestled. When he appeared to Abraham, he appeared. He is not a ghost. But here's what you need to understand, family. This level of intimacy, this face-to-face relationship here, it was earned. Moses earned it through faithfulness. He earned it through intercession. He earned it through humility. He was willing to stand in the gap for them ungrateful Israelites, even when they deserved to be destroyed. He was willing to go outside the camp. He was willing to be separate. And because of that, he honored him. Y'all want the same relationship today. You want to hear his voice clearly. You want to see his face. Then do what Moses did. Stop playing games. Stop being lukewarm. Stop straddling the fence between Yah and the world. Choose this day whom you will serve. And if you choose Yah, he will manifest himself to you in ways that will blow your mind. And notice Joshua here, that young man. He did not leave the tabernacle. While everyone else went back to their tents, Joshua stayed. He lingered. He soaked in his presence. He was not in a hurry. He didn't have a schedule to keep. He valued time with Yah more than anything else. And guess what? Joshua became the one who led Israel into the promised land after Moses died. Proximity, family, to Yah's presence produces promotion. Lingering in Yah's glory leads to leadership. Most of y'all spend 5 minutes in prayer and wonder why your life ain't changing. You give Yah your leftover time, your leftover energy, your leftover attention, and you expect Yah to give you his best. That is not how the covenant works, family. You reap what you sow. If you sow 15 minutes of distracted prayer, you will reap a shallow relationship with Yah. But if you sow hours, days, weeks, months of seeking Yah, you will reap intimacy, revelation, and authority. And that is what's happened with me, family. I'm always in this word, and that's how he's revealed to me all these little secrets that most of the people don't even know. Most of you Israelites don't even know what I have told you already. Most of y'all still think Yahushua is a different person than him, than the Father. Because that's what you've been taught. You still got the stench of Christianity on you, even though you call yourself an Israelite. You still think angels are winged beings flying around. Nope. Most High is just up there by himself, family. He don't need nobody else. He don't need no divine counsel. He says, I do it all. He created the heavens by himself. No help of angels. You don't see no angels mentioned nowhere. No winged beings. All of those symbolism. What Ezekiel saw, what Isaiah saw with the wings and all symbolism, family. And when I get to those chapters, I will let you know. And I will show you the fullness. Visions, family, not real. Revelation, symbols, parables. But this is the fruit of having an actual relationship with the Most High Yah. This is what you can receive as well. You can receive the same revelations. The Most High is right there. He got an open sign right now. You better get to him before he turns it to closed. Because that door is closing, family. We at the end of store hours, family. He about to close up shop. And if you are not in the store when he turns on the close sign, game over for you. Verse 12 here. Moses said unto Yah, see, thou sayest unto me, bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found grace in my sight. Moses was stressed. He was overwhelmed. He had the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders. A nation of complainers. A nation of rebels. A nation that wanted to kill him every other week. And now, Yah was telling him to lead them to the promised land. But Yah was not giving him all the details. Yah was not telling him who would go with him. He was not explaining the strategy. And Moses, being the bold intercessor that he was, he called Yah out. He said, you told me to bring up this people, but you have not let me know who you will send with me. He was reminding Yah of his own words. He was holding Yah accountable to his promises. And the Most High loves that. The Most High loves when his servants are bold enough to press him. He loves when you remind him of what he said. Not because he forgot, family, but because it shows that you believe his words. It shows that you are standing on his promises. Moses also reminded Yah that he knew him by name. This is significant, family. In ancient culture, knowing someone's name meant you had a relationship with them. It meant you had authority over them. It meant intimacy. Yah did not just know Moses as one of millions. He knew him personally. He knew his fears. He knew his insecurities. He knew his strengths. He knew his destiny. And the Most High knows you too. He knows your name. He knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows every tear you have cried. He knows every night you could not sleep. He knows every prayer you whispered in secret. He knows you better than you know yourself. But the question is, do you know him? Do you know him by name? Do you know his character? Do you know his ways? Or do you just know about him? There's a difference between knowing him and knowing about him. The majority of y'all only know about him through other people, through their interpretation of who he is. And most of y'all got it wrong. Y'all think the Most High finna go kumbaya with all these heathen, and we all gonna be holding hands in the kingdom with no judgment in sight. But that is wrong. That is what happens when you don't read the book, family. That is what happens when you parrot other people who don't have a relationship with him. Moses found grace in his sight. Not because he was perfect, family. Not because he never made mistakes, but because he was faithful, because he was loyal, because when everyone else walked away, he stayed. Grace is not about what you deserve, Christians. Grace is about what Yah decides to give you. And he gives grace to the humble. He gives grace to those who acknowledge their dependence on him. He gives grace to those who understand that without him, they are nothing. Verse 13. Now therefore, I pray thee, if I have found grace in thy sight, shew me now thy way that I may know thee, that I may find grace in thy sight, and consider that this nation is thy people. So Moses asked for revelation. He said, show me your way. He did not ask for material blessings, family. He did not ask for a bigger house or more cattle. He asked to know him. He asked to understand how he operates. He asked for insight into his methods, his strategies, his mind. This is what is missing in the modern church today. You pray for stuff. You pray for money. You pray for healing. You pray for relationships. But you do not pray to know Yah. You do not ask for wisdom. You do not ask for understanding. You do not ask to see things from his perspective. And because of that, you stay immature. You stay carnal. You stay focused on temporal things instead of eternal realities. Moses said that I may know thee. Knowing me or knowing Yah is the ultimate goal. Knowing Yah changes everything. When you know Yah, you trust Yah. When you know Yah, you obey Yah. When you know Yah, you stop questioning Yah's decisions. When you know Yah, you rest in his sovereignty. Whew. And then Moses reminded Yah again, consider that this nation is thy people. He was interceding again. He was standing in the gap again. He was saying, Yah, I know they are hard-headed. I know they are rebellious, but they are still yours. Do not abandon them. Do not destroy them. Remember your covenant. Remember your promise. This is the heart of a true leader, family. A true leader loves the people, even when the people do not love them back. A true leader fights for the people, even when the people fight against them. A true leader intercedes for the people, even when the people deserve judgment. And that is what Moses did. That is what he did when he came as Yahushua, family. He stood in the gap for you. He took the punishment you deserved. He died the death you earned. And if you reject that sacrifice, like the majority of you do, there is no other hope for you. Verse 14, and he said, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Yah gave in. Yah changed his mind. Not because Moses convinced him. Not because he had a good argument, family. But because Yah wanted to. Because that is sovereignty, family. The Most High does what he wants. When he wants. How he wants. And in this moment, he decided to show mercy. He decided to go with them. He decided to give them rest. His presence. That is the key. It is not about the land. It is not about the milk and honey. It is not about the blessings. It is about his presence. If Yah is with you, you have everything. If he is not with you, you have nothing. You can have all the money in the world, family. All the fame. All the success. But if his presence is not with you, you are cursed. You are empty. You are walking dead. And he promised rest. Rest is not just physical, family. Rest is spiritual. Rest is emotional. Rest is knowing that he is in control. Rest is trusting that he will fight for you. Rest is ceasing from your own efforts and letting Yah work. Most of you are exhausted because you are trying to do his job. You are trying to control outcomes. You are trying to manipulate people. You are trying to force doors open. And you are wearing yourselves out. He said, be still and know that I am Yah. Stop striving. Stop stressing. Stop sweating. He got this. Verse 15 and 16. And he said unto him, if thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence, for wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us, so shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth? So Moses understood the assignment. He said, if you are not going to go with us, then don't even take us to the land. Better to stay in the wilderness with your presence than to enter the promised land without you. Whew. Better to be homeless with Yah than to be in a mansion without him. Whoo, boy, that goes to your celebrities right now. All of them. All of y'all who are trying to attain big old houses and big cars and all that money. Better to be homeless with Yah than to be in a mansion without him. Better to be broke with his presence than to be rich without him. Look at P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and so on and so forth. That list gonna go on, family. A lot more of our people gonna be going to jail. The truth will come out, family. Your favorite rappers, your favorite singers, your favorite actors. Yeah. Judgment coming for them. But then Moses explains why he said what he said. He said the only way people will know that we have found grace, the only way people will know that we are different is if you go with us. Our distinction, our separation, our uniqueness. It is not about skin color, family. It's not about your melanin. It is not about your culture. It is not about rituals. It is about his presence. When he is with us, people see it. When he is with us, there is a glow. There is a power. There is an authority that cannot be explained by natural means. Moses said, so shall we be separated. You hear that, family? Separated, distinct, different, not blending in, not conforming, not trying to be like everyone else, not dating and marrying and fornicating and having babies with all them other people. You so-called Negroes today, you are so desperate to be accepted by the nations. You are so desperate to assimilate into their cultures. You straighten your hair. You lighten your skin. You change your names. You speak like them. You dress like them. You worship their gods. And you wonder why you have no power. You wonder why they laugh at you every time they see you. You wonder why they don't give you a seat at the table. Why respect somebody who doesn't even respect themselves? Whoo! Yah did not call us to blend in, family. He called us to stand out. He called you to be a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar people. Peter told you that. 1 Peter 2:9. And the only way that happens is if his presence is with us. Without him, family, we are just another group of people fighting for scraps. But with him, we are unstoppable. With him, we are a force of nature. With him, we inherit the earth. Hallelujah. Verse 17. And Yah said unto Moses, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name. Yah agrees. Yah said yes. Not because Moses deserved it, family, but because Moses had favor. Because Moses had relationship. Because Moses knew how to approach him. He did not come demanding. He did not come entitled. He came humble. He came respectful. He came with reverence. And the Most High honors that. This is a lesson for you niggas today. The way you approach him matters. The posture of your heart matters. If you come to him arrogant, if you come to him acting like he owes you something, he will shut you down. But if you come to him broken, if you come to him recognizing your need, if you come to him with genuine humility, he will move heaven and earth for you. He said, I know thee by name. Moses was not a number. He was not a statistic. He was a son. He was a friend. He was a partner in the work of redemption. And you are too, if you choose to be. Yah is calling you by name right now. He is inviting you into relationship. The question is, will you answer? Will you respond? Or will you keep ignoring him? Stop sending the call to voicemail, family. Pick up the phone. Verse 18, and he said, I beseech thee, show me thy glory. Moses got bold. He pushed the envelope. He had already asked for his ways. He gave him that. He already asked for Yah's presence. He gave them that too. But now he wanted more. He said, show me your glory. He wanted to see the fullness of who Yah was. He wanted to see his essence, his power, his majesty, his unfiltered reality. And he respected that, family. Yah respects hunger. Yah respects desperation. Yah respects people who are not satisfied with shallow experiences. Most people are content with a little touch from Yah. A little blessing, a little breakthrough. But Moses wanted all of Yah. He wanted to see what no human had ever seen. This is the cry that needs to rise from your heart, black people. Not Yah give me a car. Not Yah give me a spouse. Not Yah make me comfortable. But Yah, show me your glory. Yah, reveal yourself to me. Yah, let me see you as you really are. That is the prayer that moves him. That is the prayer that unlocks realms, family. But be careful what you ask for. Because when you ask to see his glory, you are asking for transformation. You are asking to be ruined for the ordinary. You are asking to become a person who can never go back to business as usual. Moses came down from that mountain with his face glowing. He was marked. He was changed. He was different. And people could not even look at him without being uncomfortable. When you encounter Yah's glory, family, you will lose friends. You will lose opportunities. You will lose your reputation because you will no longer fit in with the camp. You will be too strange, too intense, too radical. And most people are not willing to pay that price. They want the glory without the cost. They want the anointing without the sacrifice. But it don't work that way. Verse 19. Sovereignty on display here. And he said, I will make all of my goodness pass before thee, and I will proclaim the name of Yah before thee, and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will shew mercy on whom I will shew mercy. There it is. The doctrine that makes religious people angry. The doctrine that offends human pride. The doctrine of absolute sovereignty. He said, he will be gracious to whom he will be gracious. He will show mercy on whom he will show mercy. Translation, family, he does what he wants. He chooses who he chooses. He saves who he saves. He judges who he judges. And you have no say in the matter, human. There is no free will, family. Free will is a myth, a lie, a delusion that makes humans feel important. You think you are in control. You think you are making decisions, but you are not. Yah is the potter. We are the clay. He molds us. He shapes us. He hardens us. He softens us. He exalts us. He abases us. And it is all for his glory. Paul quoted this verse in Romans chapter 9. He said, therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden it. And then he answered the objection. You will say unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? And Paul responded, nay, but O man, who art thou that repliest against Yah? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? You do not get to question his choices. You do not get to demand an explanation. You do not get to vote on who goes to heaven and who does not. He is Yah. He is sovereign. He is the final authority, and his decisions are perfect, even when they do not make sense to your finite mind. This is why he chose Israel. Not because we were righteous, family. Not because we were strong. Not because we were smart. But because he wanted to. He set his love on us for no reason other than his own pleasure. And the nations hate that, family. That's why they hate you. They hate that he has favorites. So that's why Christianity waters it down and say he loves everybody. But he don't, family. Deuteronomy 7:6 destroys that. They hate that he has an elect people. But the Most High don't give a damn what they think, family. The Most High don't care what you think. He is Yah, and he does what he wants to do. Get that through your thick skulls, family, before you start praying and demanding an explanation for things that you want to see in your life. He don't got to do shit for you. Understand that. Verse 20. And he said, thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. He had to check Moses real quick. Had to check him. Had to set a boundary. He said, you cannot see my face. Why? Because my face, his full unveiled essence, his raw unfiltered power would obliterate him. It would disintegrate his molecules. It would vaporize his flesh. We are made of matter, family. He is the source of all energy. If he showed us his face, it would be like staring into the core of 1 trillion suns. We would cease to exist. This is not because the Most High is mean. This is because he is holy. Holiness is not a passive attribute, family. Holiness is active. Holiness is consuming. Holiness is dangerous. Y'all think you want to see him. but you do not really understand what you are asking for. You think it would be a beautiful sight, peaceful experience, but it would be terrifying. It would be overwhelming. It would break you. No man could see Yah and live. Not in your current state. Not in your fallen condition. Not in your flesh and blood body. That is why he had to come as Yahushua. That is why he had to veil his glory in human form, so that you can see him without dying, so that you could touch him without being consumed, so that you could hear him without going deaf. But one day, when he returns, when he comes in his full glory with all the holy ones, his people, his risen up people, when the sky splits open and every eye shall see him, then you will understand what Moses was asking for. And those who are not covered by his blood, those who have rejected him, those who have lived in rebellion, they will wish they could die. They will beg the mountains to fall on them. They will scream for the rocks to hide them, because the terror of his unveiled holiness is beyond human comprehension, family. That's why they gonna die. That's why they gonna be scared, family. Verse 21 and 22. And Yah said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passes by, that I will put thee in a cliff of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. So the Most High made a way. Even though Moses could not see his face, he gave him a glimpse. He told him to stand on the rock. He told him that he will put him in the cleft, the crack, the crevice of the rock, and he will cover him with his hand, with his palm, like a parent protecting a child from a dangerous sight. The rock, family, represents Yahushua. The rock represents his salvation. The rock represents the only safe place you can stand when his judgment passes by. If you are on the rock, you are covered. If you are in the cleft, you are protected. If you are hidden in him, you will survive. But if you are standing out in the open, like the majority of people are today, if you are exposed, if you are not covered by the blood, then his glory will destroy you. His glory will consume you. His glory will erase you from existence. Whew. This is the gospel in the Old Testament, family. Christians talking about, oh, the Old Testament done away with. How? He was explaining the New Testament right here. But y'all couldn't get that. You didn't have the understanding because the Most High don't deal with you Christians. He don't deal with you. Y'all don't got the true word. You got a made-up doctrine that came from Rome and Greece. Made up. Pagan at the core. So you miss things like this. And you will continue to miss these things because the Most High is not with you. The Most High is not with the church. The church is Israel. It ain't no damn building. This is the message that most preachers miss. Moses standing in the cleft of the rock, covered by his hand, while his glory passes by. That is a picture of salvation, family. That is a picture of what happens when you trust in Yahushua. You are hidden. You are covered. You are protected from the wrath that is coming to this wicked earth. Verse 23. And I will take away mine hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. Y'all let Moses see his back. The after effect, the wake of my glory, his glory, the residue of his presence. Even that was enough to transform him. Even that partial glimpse was enough to make his face shine so bright that he had to wear a veil. Think about that, family. He did not even see Yah's face. He only saw his back. And it changed him forever. So what do you think happens when you see Yah fully today? What do you think happens when the veil is removed? What do you think happens when Yah appears in the clouds with power and great glory? As he's going to do in Revelation 19. His back parts. His us. The divine plural, family. the fullness of his majesty moving away from him. And even the trailing edge of his glory was overwhelming, family. This is who Yah is. He is not your buddy. He is not your homeboy. He is not a genie in a bottle. He is the creator of the universe. He is the King of kings, the Lord of lords, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. He is Yah, and there is none beside him. So what does all this mean for you, family, this entire section? What does Exodus chapter 33 have to do with the so-called Negro scatter today in 2026? Everything, family. You are still stiff-necked. You are still worshiping idols. You're still chasing after the approval of the nations. You are still trying to blend in. You are still putting your hope in politicians and celebrities and movements that will fail. You are still in the camp. You are still at your tent door, watching from a distance, while a few bold ones go outside to seek me. And Yah is still distant. Yah is still outside the camp. Yah is still waiting for you to humble yourself, to strip off your ornaments, to stop flexing on social media, to stop pretending, to stop playing church, to stop playing Christian, to get real, to get desperate, to get hungry for Yah, like Moses was. The land is still waiting, family. The promise is still there. The covenant still stands, but you will not inherit it in your current condition. You will die in the wilderness if you do not turn back to him with your whole heart. Your children will inherit it. The remnant will inherit it. But you, if you keep playing games, unrepentant Israelite, complaining Israelite, rebellious Israelite, you will not see it. Yah's presence is the key. Not programs, not politics, not protests. His presence. And his presence only dwells with those who are willing to be separated, willing to be distinct, willing to be holy. So the question is, are you willing? Are you willing to leave the camp? Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing to lose your reputation? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for intimacy? Are you willing to stand in the cleft of the rock while his judgment passes by? Because time is running out, family. The hour is late. The kingdom is at hand. And Yah is returning soon, not as a suffering servant, but as a conquering king. And when he comes, there will be no more grace for those who rejected him. There will be no more mercy for those who played church. There will only be judgment. So choose this day. Choose him. Choose life. Choose covenant. Choose separation. Choose holiness. And he will be your God. And we will be his people. And we will walk together face to face like friends. Yah has spoken. This is the end of the sermon, family. Shalom.